let this thing build for a minute. You know how it is, got to create an audience and all of that good stuff. Oh yeah, good times, you know what I'm saying? We'll write a word down here for you. Write a word or two down here for you. Let me write one more for you. What's up, everybody? I am, dude, I'm back. This is my first live video in over a month. I hope you missed me. I missed you guys. Facebook kicked me off. In case you didn't read that article, all the details are over at hardcorecloser.com. And before I get into this, man, I'm going to talk to you today about success, but I've got to warn you. Look, I'm no stranger to controversy. I've pissed a lot of people off in my day because the truth, right? It's going to happen. It's going to set you free, but it's probably going to piss you off in the first place. And my job is not to be a sales trainer. It's not to be a guy that teaches salespeople how to build pipelines and funnels and leads and marketing. My job is to change your mind so you can change your life. You see, when people come into my wheelhouse, it's not just about how good they are at sales or how good they are at marketing. It's a mindset that you learn, that you apply, and the principles of that mindset, they work universally. So anyway, I just want to let you know that as you watch this video, you're probably going to have things come across your mind and you're going to say, that's not true. Well, that's not my case, or that won't happen for me. And listen, I want to explain what those are before I get into the lesson. First of all, give me some likes and some stuff like that. Maybe drop a few comments, give me some shout outs or whatever. Maybe share this so that we can get some people engaged. It's going to be a really important lesson. But first and foremost, when I start talking here in a few minutes and I get into the actual meat of the message that I'm going to share with you today, you're going to start having these resistant signals in your mind. You're going to think, because here's what happens. For every one word that comes out of my mouth, 3 words process through your brain. Every word that I say, your brain's basically thinking, do I agree with it? Do I disagree with it? Or is it bullshit? Okay? And so as I tell you things, you're going to be this like, you know, having this thought process, yes, no, bullshit, the whole entire time. Well, what happens is oftentimes we put shit in the bullshit category because we don't know, we don't have that experience, so we just assume that it's bullshit. Now, I call the bullshit storage the vault, okay? You know how you have like a bank? Back in the day, now banks don't even have fucking money. Try to get $10,000 out of your bank account in cash. They won't give it to you. I don't care what bank you go to. They don't have it. Anyway, or at least they don't want to give it to you, the stingy bastards. But back to the story here. And so what happens is we have this thing called the vault. It's in the inside of it's about like this part of our head right here, right behind the spike, right? And there's this thing inside of our head called the vault. Now there's all sorts of medical terms for it, shit like that. But look, we're salespeople. We're not that smart. So let's just dumb it down for those of us, myself included, right? And it's called the vault. And what happens is you have this vault and it stores all of your memories and experiences from birth. Right? It remembers everything from being squeezed out of the vagina all the way to the first time you got laid, to the first time somebody told you money was the root of all evil or that you needed to repent of your sins. Everything that you've ever done is stored right here inside that vault. Remember, it's right behind the spike. It's stored inside that vault. Well, what happens is we grow up, and as we mature and as we evolve, then we get things stuffed into this memory vault. And over and over again, things are fed to the vault. But what fucking happens is oftentimes the shit that's fed to the vault is complete bullshit. But after you've heard it so many times, because repetition is familiarity, so after you've heard it so many times, you start to believe that this bullshit is real, only to later in life open up your vault and you go to use the bullshit and you realize that it's counterfeit and it doesn't really get you anywhere. It's not real money. It's not real thoughts. It's not good information. And so what I want you to think about, okay, is as I'm going through this, you're going to have things from your vault pop up and it's going to say, oh, I know better. And it's probably going to be counterfeit because what I'm about to tell you is 100% true. I'm telling you through experience. But look, if you grew up like I did, you grew up where none of your friends' parents had money. Nobody in your neighborhood had money. Your parents didn't have money. Dude, everybody had to hustle selling candy at school. I saw a show the other day where selling candy at school is illegal now. Shit, that was the hustle when I was there. So check this out. So all of us came from like this place where scarcity, right? Where we didn't have like rich parents. We didn't have, in my neighborhood, there wasn't any other parents that were rich of my friends or anything like that. So I just surrounded myself with, let's just say, average citizens. While there's nothing wrong with average citizens, you're not going to get extraordinary thinking from ordinary people. So all my life, the vault, the memories, the storage in the middle of my head had been filled with thoughts and information from ordinary people. So when I started hearing extraordinary things, I thought it's complete bullshit. That's impossible. You can't do that, because I had been told that bullshit, and my vault had been filled up with counterfeit thoughts from those who raised me. It most likely happened to you as well. So when I get into this story, which we're about to transition to now, I want you to think, is that the vault talking? Or is that Ryan's experience really coming in here? So the vault, that's what we're talking about. So here's the thing. What are you willing to give up in order to see success? Really, leave me a couple comments there. There's 61 of you watching at this time. And I figured there'd be more. I haven't done a video in forever, but maybe Facebook's hating on me a little bit. I'm not sure. We can always run traffic to, as long as I don't drop the F-bomb, right? Anyway, so like, what is it that what are you willing to risk in order to be, education is not the solution, that's right. What are you willing to risk in order to be successful? You see, yesterday I posted on my personal wall, and I talked about what it takes to be successful. It takes a lot of work, it takes dedication, it takes focus, and it takes loss. A lot of people, they say, oh, I want to be successful, and then when success comes upon them, good work, Jim, risk whatever comes my way. You say that, but stick with me. 12 hours a day, that's a good risk, Tommy Acosta. Hear me out. In my search for success, now I'm not blaming this on anybody other than myself, because I believe the first step to improvement is self-responsibility, right? And so, but in my journey for success, I've worked those 12-hour days, Tommy Acosta. I've worked those 12-hour days, and guess what? The women that were aligned with me didn't like that I gave my attention to work instead of them. It resulted in divorce. Okay, so that's something that I've had to risk along the way. Matter of fact, I've had to risk it several times, unfortunately, in order to see success. Now, this is my experience, but I'm telling you this. I run a mastermind where people go from making $100,000 a year to $500,000 a year to $1 million a year. Now, we set this up. It doesn't happen overnight. We work with people for, 1 to 5 years to be able to set them on a success program like this. But what happens is when people start reaching this $100,000 a month platform, $50,000 a month on a consistent income, what happens is usually their significant other refuses to level up with them. Okay, because when you got married at your worst, now you say it's your best, like I look my best, I put my best foot forward, but you're probably financially screwed when you got married. And then all of a sudden, one of you sees success and rises financially and authoritatively way above the other one, and it makes the person that's down here, whether it be the man or a woman, it makes the person who's down here not earning as much money have this insufficient confidence, right? They lack confidence. Well, what happens is they have a choice. Do they level up with you? Or do they stay down here? And oftentimes people don't like leveling up. A lot of folks ain't really ready to get out of their comfort zone. So what happens is one of the spouses levels up. The other one says, you know what? I'm not going to level up. So they stay here, and eventually, what would be the words like where you're worn out, right? Frustration sets in because you're up here, you want this person to level up. The hand puppets here. You want this person to level up, but they're not leveling up. And so what happens is you end up either being brought down and then they sink even further, and which usually ends in divorce. You think, you're not doing your part. You only care about work. Well, you're not doing your part. Or I make all the money, I make all the rules around here, right? Like any of those conversations sound familiar to y'all? And so success, a lot of people don't realize it, but one of the biggest casualties in some of my groups is people get a divorce, right? One of the biggest setbacks that my guys and people and ladies that are involved in my masterminds is they start becoming successful. The other person that they were married to for 5, 10, 15 years sometimes decides that they don't want to level up and they have to go through divorce. When I was young, one time I asked my stepdad, I said, how come, I see these doctors and lawyers on TV and they always have way younger wives? And he said, because the first one decided not to level up with them, son. And so, really what he said was, he's like, the first one decided that they were done dealing with this shit, and then he was done dealing with their shit, so he wouldn't trade them in for a new model. But basically what he was saying is one of them decided not to level up. We see it all the time. Now, that's going to happen in your business relationships too. This isn't just limited to marriage. This is going to happen in your business relationships too. Every time that I've got yoked with somebody 50-50, there's come a time where I've outworked them and they refused to catch up, or they simply couldn't, which caused the frustration, which caused the degradation, right? Where I'm degrading them and saying, hey man, keep up, catch up, to where they're frustrating and they drop out. Right? The same thing like there is in any relationship is something that you're going to have to risk in order to see success. My friends, a lot of people that I was friends with when I came up in the neighborhood that I talked about where we didn't have any money and stuff like that, I don't talk to them anymore. It's not that I don't like them. You know, it's not that I don't want to talk to him. It's that I've got to level up and surround myself. So I had to cut those ties and take that loss. That's something else that I risked and I lost in order to see success. Because you see, I can't go up there with the same people that are trying to keep me down here. It's impossible. It's impossible unless I want to carry them on my back, which does not do either one of us any good. And look, I tried to climb a mountain with a rucksack one time. That gets frustrating, let alone try to go to the top of the mountain with someone that is on your back. So you're going to have to lose relationship after relationship. I know most of you think, well, I can be successful and still have everything I have now. Not true. You have what you have now and you're not successful. You're not going to be able to go to the next level and see success with the same stuff that you're doing right now. That's insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results is insane. Especially today when you have access to people like myself and other advisors and other consultants and other multi-million and multi-billionaires. You can watch Elon Musk do business live on Twitter and you decide that you want to still do the same things with the same people and carry them up, and it's not going to happen. Guys in the NFL that you watch the show Ballers, or if you watch anything on ESPN, what happens? One dude gets a $10 million contract. He brings 5 of his friends from the same hood with the same shit mentality, with no financial understanding and no background, and their advice is bitches, hoes, bottles, and jewelry. Right? Now, however, if you got a $10 million contract and you surrounded yourself with financial advisors, with mentors, with people that understand how to invest your money and grow it, and people who are truly looking out for your best interest, you'll infinitely, like there's a guy, Roger Staubach, Cowboys quarterback in the early 80s, late 70s, I believe. That guy, instead of surrounding himself with the dumbasses he grew up with, he surrounded himself with commercial real estate geniuses. When he left the NFL, he was damn near broke. Like, there's no money back then. They were making like $150,000 a year back then. It wasn't the big enterprise you see today. And now the guy's worth damn near $1 billion because they're moving every piece of commercial real estate around Dallas, right? It's all about who you surround yourself. So with one of the things that you're going to have to risk in order for success is to cut ties with your parents, to cut ties with your friends, to cut ties with the people you love. It may even require you to cut ties with the person you're married to. That's just what it takes. Because see, here's what people say. Like, we've got the guy, I can scroll up right here, and he says, Jim Schmidt, he says, I'll risk whatever it takes to get success. Well, see, the post I put on my wall says that people say that all the time, but are you willing to get divorced for it? And you might say, well, I want to be, success to me is to be with the same person and be rich. But if that person's not leveling up with you, that is going to be an impossibility in the future. At some point, there will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you'll say, you're not leveling up, I'm out. It happens. I see it. We live in denial. See, we live in this padded cell where we want to convince ourselves that everything's going to be okay and we just want to be comfortable and we're safe and we won't melt and all these other things, right? But the truth is, success is not for the timid. It's not for the weak. And in order for you to see it, you're going to have to change the things that you do now. You're not going to, I've said this before, but you're not going to be able to go to the next level doing same level shit. That's just not how it works. You're going to need different people. You're going to need different surroundings. You're going to need the same marketing methods and sales methods that work now that get you $100,000 a year will not get you $1 million. It is impossible. The same people that are sending you business that are getting you $50,000 a year right now will never get you to $1 million. You've got to risk for success. But see, a lot of people, they just think risk is their time or risk is their energy towards a project. That's not true. You got to risk it all. Right? You've got to risk it all. A lot of people that are billionaires have literally risked their life. Mark Cuban, he's worth, what, $5.6 billion right now? He could have gone to jail for broadcast.com. He risked it all for that. Big Mike's the big cannabis guy. He's worth a couple $100 million right now. He's the biggest thing in cannabis industry. Big Mike's a badass, right? Big Mike, that dude could go to jail at any minute. He's risking it all for success. Right? Guys like Tony Robbins, they put their life on the line. They put their health on the line. Tony Robbins, another example. He was married, now he's remarried. I guarantee, I don't know Tony's story, but I guarantee you the person he was married to the first time decided they didn't want to level up as he ascended into his billion-dollar empire. However, his current wife said, you know what, I'll go on the journey with you and I will. And it happens. But here's the thing, we like to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves, oh, it's going to be okay, and we just stay comfortable, and this is just Ryan's experience. But here's the thing. Every fucking thing on this planet is trying to kill you. You drink too much water, you you die. You have too much air, you die. You trip and fall, hit the wrong part of your head, it's game over. You can walk in the street, get hit by a car, but yet we tell ourselves that, oh, we can be successful and it's not going to cost any casualties whatsoever. Nothing on this planet is here to assist you, right? There was nothing here made to make your life easier. Everything that is on this planet is set here to challenge you through natural selection. Success is no exception to that rule. That is an interplanetary rule, right? Like, I don't know about other planets, but it works inside of our planet. I'm no astronaut, by the way. But here's the thing. If you're not willing to risk it all, now, I'm not saying you have to. Maybe that person levels up with you. Maybe that business partner levels up with you, right? Maybe that does happen in your life. But if you're not willing to risk to find out if they are or if they aren't, you'll never make it. You'll never see success. And look, I want success for everybody watching this video. I do. Right now, live, and in the future, I want success for you. But there you go. No pain, no gain. You're going to have to go through a lot of pain to gain success. If making $1 million a year was easy, well, hell, we'd all be millionaires. If making $100 million was easy, we'd all be 100 millionaires. Hell, if just making it by was easy, we'd all be making it by pretty good. But that's not the case. We don't live in that world. Everything in this world is designed to challenge you, because every challenge and every experience you go through cause exponential growth. And if you'll use that exponential growth to create momentum in your life, you will go where you want to, but you can't do that without taking the risk. The risk of walking into the street, the risk of investing into your business, the risk of joining that mastermind, the risk of hiring that consultant, the risk of hiring that employee, the risk of going and leasing that office space. Nothing will ever change unless you take those risks. But you've got to risk it all for success. I'm not saying you have to lose it all, but you have to be willing to lose it all. And most people, they're willing to lose this, and this, but they want to hold on to this. But chances are this that they're holding on to is what's keeping them from seeing success. So I want you to think about this as you go through your week and you plan things out and you're like, yeah, man, you know what? This is my year. We're into March. I'm ahead of quota. Everything else. What are you going to do to carry the ball further? What are you willing to lose? What are you willing to risk? Because right now, I guarantee you, make $150,000, $250,000 a year, you get comfortable. I hear guys all the time tell me, I got a lot on my plate. Bitch, I got a lot on my plate too. I earn multiple millions of dollars, run 6 freaking companies. I got a lot on my plate too. I find time. Right? So I hear these excuses. What happens is they get comfortable. And to me, $250,000 is not really successful. And so what happens is they get to make $250,000. They get comfortable because here's what the world's doing. The world's going, it's okay. The vault's going, you're doing better, everybody in your neighborhood. It's okay. None of your friends make this kind of money. You got a lot on your plate. You don't have to grow. You just stay right here in your little comfort zone. It's okay, buddy. No problem, right? And the vault's lying to you. It's lying to you because it doesn't want you to take those risks, because the world, just like DJ Khaled says, they do not want you to win. Right? Y'all seen that video where that dude looks like DJ Khaled puts his damn hands all over that guy? Shit is wild. But here's the thing. You're going to have to be willing to risk the chance that you're going to lose it all. And you have to be okay with losing it all. Now, unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've served prison twice where I've lost it all. I've been divorced 3 times where I've lost it all. And I feel like those things were things that I had to go through in order to see success. I had to learn the lesson that I wasn't supposed to sell drugs, even though that was the first and only money-making opportunity given to me as a young man. But I had to learn that lesson. That was all part of my success journey. I had to be willing to risk it all. When we sold drugs, we did. We were willing to risk it all. I ended up risking ultimately 4 years of my life for it. Then when I learned the mortgage business, I risked everything. I even went into foreclosure on my house so that I could leverage it to be able to buy investment property. As a whole complicated thing that I was doing, but I risked it all. And I lost. I've lost several times along the way. But the thing is, I've learned from each one of those experiences, and the fact that I've risked and lost gives me the experiences to be able to keep and gain in the future. And here's the most important part, is when you take the risk and it pays off to you, it builds a new set of confidence. Look at this. What? And you know I'm in here talking, and you just gonna come in on the back end of my computer. You know I'm in here doing it, and you're just gonna sneak in. But thank you for your kindness. That's how you know you're the closer, when you got a beautiful, blonde, hot, smoking hot fiance that goes and brings you green juice every morning. That's what closes shit right there. Take notes, guy. Thank you, babe. Whoo, that ginger's zinging this morning. So here's the thing. If you're not willing to risk everything, you'll never get there. Now, so like I was saying, I've been in a few times in my life where I've had to give everything up. When you go to prison, you give up everything. You give up your house, your cars, and there's no wedding rings, there's no watches. Like literally you're in a uniform and they tell you everything. What to do, when to do it with, all that good stuff, right? And so I've literally lost it all. So I've got used to having to take these risks and losing it all. So I've lost that fear. You know, I always say that all this shit could go out the window tomorrow and give a fuck. I still make money somewhere because I'm not scared to lose it all. That's why I take a stand. I have the beliefs I have. I talk the way that I talk. I've kept it real for years with you guys now. And we've grown exponentially. We've got a ton of people that we've changed their lives. But I've kept it real for years right now because I know in the event that I piss the world off and nobody ever bought from me again, I don't give a fuck. I'll go do something else because I'm willing to risk it to be able to say my part and do my point. Are you? So this week as you go through today, everything else, the rest of your life, man, am I willing to risk XYZ comfort? Like when the vault tells you, hey man, you should stay comfortable. Am I willing to risk this level of comfort in order to gain what I want on that next level? Now I can tell you, I've made $100 grand a year. I felt like a big man. I felt like my dick was 15 inches when the first time I earned 100 grand in a year. Boy, I thought I was a bad dude. Then, a couple years later, I earned over $500,000 a year. Dude, I thought I was the richest dude in Dallas. I was a young man. You know how it is. You come from the hood, you get like, you know, trash money, and then all of a sudden, you know, you think you're a big baller because you're better than everybody you know. Now I go in and I make a few $1 million a year, and I feel like I'm broke because everybody that I've surrounded myself with is making 50, 10, 15, 50, 100, sometimes $1 billion in a year. I got hedge fund managers that manage multiple billions of dollars that I'm friends with, and I feel inadequate. But here's the thing. Even if all this fell out the window tomorrow, and I can tell you that it feels better earning millions than it does 100,000, but I didn't do the same thing to earn millions that I did to earn 100,000. I had to level up, and sometime along the way, the people that were there at 100,000 aren't here now. There's a lot of people that were there at 100,000. Yeah, you're our champion. You made 6 figures. Let's go out with Ryan. Let's spend Ryan's money. I had to cut away from that crowd. I had to cut away from them in order to get to the next level, to get to millions of dollars. And I said this the other day on my personal profile too. It's like you spend a lot of your time trying to look nice and look rich until you actually get money, and then you want to look poor because then people want to borrow it all the time. But here's the thing, guys. The risk is real. And if you're not willing to risk it, you'll never get the reward. And you have to be willing to lose everything. I'm not saying you're going to lose everything. I'm just saying you have to be willing to take that chance in order for the thing to actually pay off. And listen, I've lost plenty of times, right? There's any entrepreneur that's worth a damn will tell you that they've taken a lot of risks that haven't paid off. And that's just part of the game. That's just part of the game. You got to embrace that. Just like when you're playing poker, man, you can fucking lose. But the thing is, you got to play the game if you want to win. Just like the stock market. If you're not in the stock market, you can lose all your money in the stock market. But if you're not in it, you can't make any either. So the key is to get in it and don't be afraid to risk everything and lose everything, including your significant other, because that might just be the price of success for you. Later, everybody. If you dig this, share it. Make sure you go over to hardcorecloser.com. Hey, look, we're looking for members of our mastermind. We need mastermind leaders and mastermind members. Go to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Join us over there. Dude, this is the best program on the planet, and it's like-minded people. Breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Join us over there in our huge mastermind later.